Alright guys, welcome back to the garage. So I'm taking the boat out on a little trip here shortly, and I need to finally get this thing fixed, get the trolling motor reattached, and do some more riveting. So Kelvin got me the rivet gun, which I need to grab out of the toolbox, and I already got a little excited and I did some stuff with it. I clamped this down with rivets, so I had done a couple of screws. There's one on the other side that we'll put some rivets in that one. But this little nose cone was also loose, and so I already riveted that back down. But I need to bolt the trolling motor down, and I got some bolts for that. Before it was just screwed in with wood screws. It wasn't actually bolted through, so I'm going to bolt it through with some washers on the back. So that should help with that. And then I also need to fix these rivets down here on this door. So there's the other end here, and these are just, I pulled one out already. I should be able to pull those out. I'm gonna have to probably drill those, and this one's fine on this side. I think on the live well cover, one of those might be messed up, and then this farthest hinge on like the rod locker side storage also needs re-riveted, and that little corner over there needs re-riveted. So there's a bunch of rivets that need to be replaced, and this trolling motor needs to be slapped on. I also have these rod holders that need to be put in. So I think I've got all the hardware I need to do this stuff. Hopefully we can knock this out quick because I need to have this boat ready. Yeah, so stay tuned guys, we're gonna get to work. Alright, so I gotta set this up here. The one thing that I did notice on this is that with the trolling motor, if I bolt it down first, I probably won't be able to access the one screw that holds it over here. This faceplate gets held on with these 3 screws, and I can't remember if there was actually one in there when we took it apart, because I'm not sure, but we'll try to get this thing back on here in the same general location it was at, I think. I know it was hanging off the front a bit. I'm gonna have to get these down and then put the whole thing down or something to get to the front bolts. We'll get these locked in. Definitely don't need 2 inches, but that's what I got. I've got these fender washers here that I'm going to throw on the bottom so it spreads it out across that wood bottom on there. Doing all this without looking at it under there. Alright, so I've got those bolts all tightened up under there. You can see how those are attached. They've got a nice fender washer on them. So I've got 3 in here, and I need to pop this trolling motor out, and then I should be able to do these front 2. Hopefully that's far enough through. I can already tell you it's in there way stronger than it was. I'm over here sweating. I should have the fan over here. I got a fan out here, but it's all the way on the other side of the room because I'm a genius. Feel like there's a bunch of spider webs up there. That's awesome. Alright, yeah, that's way better than it was. Boom. Alright, I'm happy with how that is. We're going to close this back up. I did not get this thing rewired yet, but we'll have to work on that. Got 3 screws for this. kind of janky. Should probably replace these, but at some point I feel like I'm going to do all the decks and everything. And I don't know, grab a power tool. Alright. Well, we've got 5 out of the 6 trolling motor mounts secured. It's way tighter. This is all in there tight. So that's good. So I think it's time to move on to some of these rivets. Alright guys, so here's the rivet tool that Kelvin gave me. And it came with these rivets. I did pick up some bigger rivets, and that's what I used for some of the bigger stuff. We'll use some of the bigger ones over there. But on this hatch here, I think we're going to use these little ones. And I think I'm going to have to do some drilling. So these end of these rivets will just come right out. On this side anyways, this is what we pulled out of there. But I'm still going to have to drill this hole a little bit, and I'm going to have to try to drill these out, which is going to probably suck, but I think once I figure it out, it'll be really easy to get the hang of. So, see if I can show you how this works. You stick this thing in the gun here, the thingy dingy, and you start pulling this handle back, and what that does is that grips onto this piece and starts pulling it back, and if you can see this ball on the end, it starts expanding, so it just mushes that on there, and then once it gets enough tension, this piece will just pop right out. So see if we can do this. These are in this way. About as straight as I can get, I guess. There's your leftover piece. There we go. And that lid is fixed. Loose metal out of there. See if it still closes. Closes just fine. And it's not floppy anymore. There we go. Let's do some more rivets. Alright, we're on the boat. So like I said, I riveted that one down. The one on this side is still screwed in. So we're going to pull those screws out and rivet this thing in. Just because it's going to be better for it. So I've got a couple holes there that I need to drill out a little larger. And I think I need a slightly longer shanked rivet. I think these so we'll see if these fit. They do. I think they'll have enough grab in there. We'll give it a shot. And there we go. So you can see they're down in there. Just run this on there. Why do they do that? They're like breaking in the middle. to pop out. It is what it is. Ain't perfect, but it'll work. I don't know why it did that. It's done that on a couple of them. Alright, so our side box here has got the same issue. These rivets on this one bracket, and that's the only one out of the three, are all broken off. Here, come on. Just a second to get it lined up. There we go. It's I mean, it's reattached. This still isn't like super stable over here, but it's better than it was before. Alright, now that I'm thoroughly sweating my ass off out here, all we really have left to do right now is try to sink some of these rod holders in the back here and see how we want to do that. So let's knock this out quick. Alright, so I lied. I thought I was done with the rivets, but as you can see, these rivets are pretty loose on this back here. So I'm going to drill these out and re-rivet this, and there's two rivets on the back that I'm going to do the same thing to. Alright, that took some effort, but I got it off, so you can see where it was in there at. Transom doesn't look terribly rotten, and you can see those back couple rivets. I need to drill those out. It sucks how they're like right on the edge of that sheet metal, but stop zooming in on my face. We're almost there, and I've only lost a gallon of water in the garage here, just sweating. I got the fan on me, man. It's warm in here. Buy a boat, they said. It'll be fun. I'm pretty sure I'm gonna have to use the longest ones I got. I got 1/2-inch grips. All right. After working on this thing for a little while, what I figured I needed to do was I put a strap on here, and I had to like pull it in because the holes didn't want to line up. It was kind of crooked out there, and I mean, it makes sense. Everything's kind of under pressure, but I've got everything straight now. Those are in there straight. There, you guys can see those, and those are straight. So let's get these things tightened down. Tell you what, this was a bigger pain in the ass than I expected it to be. Just this one of them. Alright, those are done. Let's take this clamp off of here. Watch the whole thing pop apart. There we go. That's on there solid now. Okay. Alright, y'all, so I've got all the rivets done, thankfully, and I want to move on to putting these rod holders in the back. So I'm trying to figure out how I want to place them, and the issue I'm having is I need to I don't really want to just screw them down with wood screws, and I suppose I could, but I'd rather bolt these through. I don't know if it's worth it or not though. Because if I do, I have to take this whole thing off in order to get the bolts on the bottom of this, or the nuts on the bottom. I can do it here, but I have 4 of these bases, and I was going to go all the way here, and then probably put one there, one here, and then one over here. to kind of keep them spread out as far as possible. But yeah, that means I need to either just bite the bullet and use wood screws and bolt the middle ones down and hope for the best. Yeah, I don't know, what should I do? Should I take the whole thing off? Because I have a feeling there's foam under there too. As it is, I have to drill out. So I've got to drill out a hole that's big enough that this will sink down into it. 1 3/8 hole. And then yeah, I can either just screw it down or I can bolt it down on the edges. The middle ones I can bolt. I've got to decide if I want to take the time to pull this whole back deck off. I guess if it's worth doing, it's worth doing, right? So I guess we're going to pull this back deck off. That way I don't necessarily need to run to the store. But I think before we close the video out, I might run and get some extensions. They make extensions that plug into that then the rod holder goes onto. Because since they're flush mounted, they're going to be really low. Since they're going to be so low, you won't be able to get a ton of up angle or anything on them. So yeah, they make like, I don't know if they're 6 or 7 inch extensions that come up, and then the rod holder can sit up here, and you can angle it different ways even that way. So let's pop this back deck off and start drilling some holes in it, I guess. Got most of the screws out. I had to drill one out because the head was so jacked up, but that's alright. At least I'm learning what I'm going to have to do to replace the deck on here. So I wouldn't mind doing that. I mean, honestly, I don't really need to take it out. I can get to everything I need to get to under here, I think. So there's just a big chunk of foam under here. I think if I do redeck this boat, or when I do redeck this boat, I'm going to put a couple little hatches in here. I mean, you don't get a ton of room, but any room is good room. It's not completely full, it's just a big ball of foam in there. But I can pick it up enough that I should be able to get the bolts on the bottom of those things. So yeah, let's drill some holes, figure out where we want to put these things. I think that's pretty good right there. So what I'm going to do is, I've got this step bit, and I'm going to use that to drill the holes, the big holes, and then we'll use just a regular drill bit to get the 4 side ones. But I want to sink that thing down in there before I drill the side holes, because that way if it walks, if it moves a little bit, it's not a big deal. Now, I imagine this thing is going to probably gum up with carpet, but hopefully we do all right. This is exactly 1 3/8, so we got to go all the way through. There we go. As tight as that fit is, I probably could have just screwed it in, but it's all right. We'll get all these sunk, and then we'll drill the holes and do the bolts. Go. Alright, they're all screwed in. Battery died, so now I need to put the bolts and washers on the bottom, put the nuts and washers on the bottom. I guess, let me show you guys what's under there. So can you see that? Just a bunch of foam under there. Just a big block of foam, and there's my bolts and stuff coming through. So I'm going to get all the nuts and stuff put on the back of these, and then we'll get this thing drilled back down. Alright y'all, so as you can tell I'm wearing a different shirt. I took a shower and I had to run into Cabela's, and I picked up these things. So these are rod holder extensions that'll fit down into there, and then the rod holder will attach right onto here. It is a 6 3/4 inch extension. And these were only $8. They only had 2 of them, so I bought 2, and these will probably work best for the outer 2. They did have another kind that was actually adjustable in height, but they were $25 a piece, and I wasn't about to pay that. These should be more than enough. I think this will all work together with 4 rods out there if I have these on the outside. But I'm going to go ahead and stick all the rod holders in here and we'll kind of see how they look. But other than that, I think we're about finished up. I've still got some junk up here, but I pretty much got everything vacuumed out. And one of my rod holders is over there in the kayak, but these all taken apart. So you don't even need this base or the side piece because it comes with one. So I guess I'll have these extra. And this should just drop right down in here, just like the other one does. There we go. So that drops down in. You can pull this off. And boom, I've got a nice rod holder here. And it's got enough room that I can swivel it and kind of do whatever I want with it now. So I might need to get 4 of these. It's pretty sturdy. That's gonna have no problem catching a fish. So we've got that there. Stick one in here. Or drop it first. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to get 4 of them. Because these rear ones, you're gonna have to run at a pretty steep angle to get over the motor. And then this is a used one. This one was off my kayak, so I just had to buy a base for it. Guess this one's the odd man out. This one says Cabela's, the rest of them say Bass Pro. But they're all the exact same rod holders since they're the same company. There we have it. 4 rod holders on the back. I'm definitely going to need to get extensions for these couple. But this should make it work. Alright, everything is vacuumed off decently. The rod holders are in. I got the seat moved back. The base was stuck up here. I finally got that moved, so both seats are in the right location. I think the only thing left to do is I should probably plug the trolling motor in and see if all the wiring still works. So we're going to dump this down and check that out really quick. Reconnect the battery and see how this all works. Everything seems to be in the appropriate location. I guess you guys see that down there? Let's turn this thing on and see. I'm gonna break the prop. Well, we are good to go. We're good to go. Well, alright guys, I think we're done for now. Everything went in. I got all the rivets fixed. The live well hatch was the only hatch that didn't need rivets fixed. I guess the only hatch out of all 3 hatches on here. So all the rivets are done, front to rear, that needed to be replaced. And I've got my 4 rod holders on the back. I have my trolling motor reconnected and it works. And it's on there way solid, way more solid than it was before. And yeah, I've got the 4 rod holders in the back. Like I said, I do want to get a couple more extensions, but we'll have to wait on those and find some in stock somewhere. I suppose I could order those, but it is what it is. So it's been a warm day in the garage here working on this guy, but we got everything that we wanted to get done. Hopefully everything runs all right on this trip coming up, but we shall see. So anyways, guys, like I said, I'm headed out on a little trip. I'm taking the boat with me. I'm going to be gone and hanging out with these guys for a few days. So we'll see how many videos I get out of that. So anyways, guys, stay tuned for the next adventure. I'll see you in a bit.